joining another segment of the Mighty My Own Purpose podcast with me, your host, Sharif Patrice. Come on in the room. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes, this is season 2, episode 2. If you have missed episode 1, you can catch it as well as season 1 on my website. Come on and subscribe to www.sharifpatrice.com and click the podcast button. Okay, before we get started, I need you to tag a creative, invite them to come on in the room, and I guess you can tag in the comments below. Yeah, and don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. While you're doing that, let me tell you a little bit about our podcast. It is a safe place for creative artists who have been a part of the village behind the voice, or major recording artists in the music industry. They'll share their hearts and their stories and their passion and impart wisdom to those who might want to pursue this path as a professional creative. So with that being said, I have a very exciting guest for you today on episode 2. Check him out.
Romeo Johnson is here to do that just for you. Why is he qualified? He's been a professional working musician and vocalist for over 3 decades. He's toured, performed, recorded, and coached some of the biggest artists in the world. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Stevie Wonder, El DeBarge, Avril Lavigne, Vesta Williams, Rashawn Patterson, Queen Latifah, Sean P. Diddy Combs, James Ingram, Kanye West, Priyanka Chopra, and the newcomer, Quincy Brown, a.k.a. IQ.
Major artists are lining up to work with Romeo.
Romeo has been the casting vocal consultant and head coach for the Emmy Award-winning NBC The Voice, vocal director for Sean P. Diddy Combs, making his band, and MTV's Star Maker. Vocalist for American Idol, conducted LA vocal auditions for Lady Gaga's touring band, and contracted vocalist for Christina Aguilera and Neo's touring band as well. For many of you who auditioned for The Voice, he was the guy who auditioned you.
So when I said he has worked with everybody, I mean everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an artist in his own right, celebrity vocal coach, Mr. Romeo Johnson. Come on in the room.
Hey now, what's up, Sharif? How are you?
What is up, man?
Man, so good to see you.
Good
I'm
to see
so
you
glad
too.
to be on your show. This is amazing what you guys are doing. I'm loving it.
So excited. Oh, wow. Man, it's been like, how long? See, I think probably 2009 I seen you last.
Really?
It's been a long time.
I'm trying to figure out when the last time we saw each other, but I know we've
In
been.
His Presence Church
Oh
in
yeah,
California.
absolutely.
Because we were going at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely.
Crazy. That's like, yeah, that's 2009.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's been a minute.
That's crazy.
Come on.
Wow. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
I done found you out, brother.
Hey,
You've been busy.
you too. You too.
I'm just
Love
minding
it.
my own purpose.
You did mighty on purpose. I love it.
Well, I want my people to meet you, and I want to introduce you,
Mhm.
as I have already. I want to tell them a little bit about your beginnings and how you got started.
Okay.
But let's talk about where you're from. Tell the people where you're from.
Originally I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just the home of Usher Raymond, the home of Samuel L. Jackson.
Really?
Absolutely. So yeah, I was born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm the youngest of 4. My parents, they both gone home now, but they were married for 60 years.
Wow.
So we were just raised in a great loving home, and they kind of steered us right, brought us up in church, knowing the Lord. And my mom could sing her face off, so I grew up listening to her and mimicking her. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that whole thing came from, as far as the singing is concerned. Yeah, and I was born and raised there, and I moved to Los Angeles when I was about 22 or 23. Yep, to pursue this thing we do.
Child, let me tell me about the couch story, because everybody got a couch story when they move. Don't nobody just move to LA and just move into their own place.
No, absolutely not. So the funny thing about my story, this is horrible. The funny thing about my story is that my mind was made up. I knew I was going to go and pursue this music career, but I had told my mom that I had a place waiting for me, and I had a friend that I could stay with, and that I had a job waiting for me. This was, I'm showing my age, but There was this was before cell phones. Clearly, this was before
Of
GPS.
course, I was there
You know,
with you.
so I dropped everything I was doing. I took all my money and I drove from Tennessee to LA. And I had my mom thinking I had everything situated, but I knew no one. And when I finally got to LA, I knew there was this one lady that said she lived in LA. I met her in Chattanooga. She wanted to manage this band that we were in. And I remember she sent me a letter. So I went to her address on that letter and I found her. And she was shocked. She let me spend the night there at her sister's place because she was staying with her sister that night. My mom, I called my mom, called my mom fronting like I'm here, I'm good.
Mama knew though, right?
I'm like, you know what she may have.
She knew, okay.
She may have.
Mamas don't play.
Well, let me tell you what was the trip. She said your cousin lives in Long Beach.
Ooh.
My cousin lives in Long Beach. She said, where are you right now? I said, I'm in Long Beach. And so I called my cousin. He said, come over tomorrow. The next day I went over there and he's like, I just bought a brand new RV. And he said, we use it on the side of the house. I probably won't be using that thing until another year. You should just stay in there and use it for your place. So
you got hooked up, brother.
God looked out for me so quickly. I had a job and a place to stay within 24 hours.
That's amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, stayed there for 3 months until I got my own place.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
God does it. When it's meant to be, it's just meant to be.
Exactly, because I was terrified. I really didn't know what I was going to do.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I had my little money. I had a little pocket full of money, so I was prepared to get, an extended stay type of situation until I worked. But it worked. God just worked it out for me right away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, not the extended stay.
Oh, I'm talking about.
Those went out back then.
No, your stay worked.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a place called, literally, I think it was called Extended Stay.
Really? I know extended stay.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was ready, but thank God I didn't have to spend my little money on that.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Everybody don't have that story. That's a blessing.
I know.
So you did open mics.
Yeah, I
Tell me about
did.
it.
Well, when I first got to LA, I had my mindset that I was going to just get established because I knew nothing about LA. So I figured I'm going to stay quiet. I was in men's retail when I was growing up. So I got a job at a men's clothing store. I ended up becoming an assistant manager there. I was doing that for about the first year, actually. And I said nothing to no one about being a musician for the first 6 months or so. I just wanted to get acclimated, see what it was about. And then I think I talked to someone at the store and I asked them about music and musicians. And they said, you should go to Marla's Memory Lane. And they said, you know who Marla Gibbs is? I'm like, the actress, the lady from the Jeffersons? I said, yeah, she's got a club over here on Martin Luther King. And they have a talent show every week. You should go check it out. So I went there and I was just quiet. I got in and just kind of vibed it. And I was kind of gauging, how do I fit in? I was listening to singers. I'm like, okay, I can get him. I can get him.
You get it.
And somebody else get on stage. I'm like, oh, I got to practice. I'm trying to see where I fit in the scheme of things. And I must have done that 3 or 4 weeks. And then finally I asked the guy, I said, how can I get up and sing? He said, you got to register and come back next week. And I did it. I sang the next week. When I got off, people were like, you got a card? And I was like, you have a business card? I was like, no. He said, you got to get a business card. But a lot of people were approving. I did it again. And it kind of took off. And next thing I know, I was singing with Ollie Woodson from The Temptations. We had known each other from Tennessee. And he was.
You played bass for him, right?
I played bass for him.
I didn't know you played bass.
You've been doing your homework. Check you out.
But I do remember on tour that you said you played bass.
Yep. I literally
Come on, bassman.
Come on now. I literally came to LA to be a bass player. I wasn't even thinking about being a singer at all, which is kind of funny. But I came to pursue being a bass player. That's what I wanted to do. I ended up doing 2 tours as a bass player. I was Jody Watley's bass player for a couple of years. And
wow. I love Jody.
Yeah.
You know that you needed me. Sorry.
So I did her gig, her tour as a bass player, and I did Sheena Easton's tour as a bass player. So those are 2 major tours.
Dope.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. But the vocal thing, I think Vesta was the first person to give me a tour at all. She was my very first
Wow.
tour, Vesta Williams, and that was a vocal gig. So I just kind of, you know, when you first come out and you're trying to pursue this thing, you're just trying to get in where you fit in, like wherever they're ready to pay you, you know. I happen to be able to play bass and sing, so I was like, wherever the gig is open right now, I'm trying to get established and get my name going. So that's the way it went.
You know, Vesta got me through my first. I came to LA in I think it was '89.
Wow.
Her out, yeah, her albums were like, I knew all them songs. Yeah, they got me through, and I had the chance to actually write a song for her.
Which one?
With Derek Edmonton. It's called Old Time Sake.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yep, Derek. You know, that was the year that I got hired with Vesta. Was '89.
Come on now.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all was. So you was one of the two guys.
Yeah, three. It was three of us.
And the
Don't
all
make
black.
fun of us.
I was on the Running Man and stuff.
Oh,
Was that you?
yeah, man.
I loved y'all. This is amazing.
Vesta had us half naked, looking like Vesta Williams Chippendale singers or something.
First of all, she could dance though. Don't even get it
She
twisted.
could dance, couldn't she? That lady could dance, would kick her legs up like it was nothing, and sing.
And put that black cape up like what?
Exactly. And that was the thing. She would push us to dance full out and sing. We laugh about that all the time because I tell people that's what we like. Y'all gotta dance full out. Y'all gotta really dance. And she'll say, make sure the blend is on. Take the vibrato out. I'm like, what? Like, how are we gonna do all this? But we did it. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about being new and hungry and wanting to prove yourself. Now, you know, if you look back at that, you go, okay, that's impossible. But just being hungry and wanting to prove yourself, whatever she said, do, we were like, okay. And we did it. She had us dancing like full out, singing. And of course, I was singing all the top notes. And she was like, I want you guys, if y'all vibratos are different, y'all just take the vibrato out and just make sure you blend. We were like, okay.
Yeah, let me tell you, I commend y'all for that because I got when I moved to I think I was in Fresno, and when Karen White came out,
oh yeah,
I love that song. I love the way you love me. One thing I could do in the beginning was dance real good, and sing real good.
Wow.
However, I had never put the two together. I got excited. When she came on Soul Train and she had on her heels and that little mini black skirt.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is my song. And so the intro started. We was all running mad when it was time to sing. Hey, baby, baby, baby. I was like,
she was like, wait a minute.
I don't know how I'm gonna do. Oh. So I got my life, my new life right there. I was like, you might want to rethink.
It's conditioning, right? It's sure conditioning.
But y'all was dancing.
Yeah, she had us dancing full out. It was funny because sometimes people would say, hey, aren't you one of Vesta Williams dancers? I'm like, I'm not a dancer, man. I'm a singer. She just got us dancing. But that was a great first experience, you know, kind of in the big leagues, you know, and we learned a lot. Vesta gave a lot of people their first shot that year, you know, and then she intentionally did that. You know, she got a lot of people who had never done major tours, and she was like, you know what, I want to give them a shot. I want them to, and she knew we were going to be hungry, and we were going to give her 100%. And as a result of that, we were blowing people off the stage. Like she had the dopest, hottest band, a lot of energy. You know, we were dancing. The harmonies were super tight, and we were smoking some people. You know, we went on tour with Freddie Jackson for a while. It was just funny. Every time we would go to a different city, the next day, the paper was like, yeah, it should have been the headliner. And it was causing some issues.
Well, first of all, I think that you all back then were the first. Vesta was the first one to bring back all male singers.
Absolutely.
Background singers.
Yep.
That's what I thought was so cool about that.
Yeah, all that was a game plan. I mean, she talked about it all as she was hiring us, you know. That was actually, I think, one of the reasons that I got hired, because she was like, oh, wait a minute. She heard me sing and she was like, can you sing that high? Like every night? I'm like, yeah.
She said, oh, like every night.
You can do it all.
That part. Like every night.
Yeah, you know, I was young and it was no issue.
Right.
She said, yeah, I know I want him. It was a cattle call, and praise God, I was literally the first one that got hired. She's like, okay, he's in for sure. Yeah, so, and I had my little bass. I had my bass strapped on. I said, you want to hear me play bass too? She's like, nope.
Nope. I just want you to sing and dance.
I don't even hear you play bass. I'm good. I trust you can play. She said, I know what I need you for now. So she had us rehearse. We would have good long hours of just vocal rehearsals, And I was kind of used to that, to be honest with you, because my band at home in Tennessee, we had our little local band, and we would just practice and practice and practice because in Chattanooga wasn't much more to do. But I was used to putting in, 5-6 hours. We were doing 8 to 10 hours, but yeah, it was good. She was I couldn't have had a better first experience. She prepared us for whatever else could have come afterwards.
We love you, Vesta.
Yeah, I love her to death. She's
Rest in peace, Mama.
Yeah.
Rest in soul. Hey.
Oh yeah, that's one of my best friends.
I remember you guys being very close.
Yeah.
So you did Sheena Easton. You played bass with her. You said Jody Wiley. You sang duets. Wait, Sheena let you do duets.
Yeah, I did all the
duets.
I did the Sugar Walls, You Got the Look, and it was another cover. Yeah. Sorry. We actually started the show off with that. And that would be the first song, yeah. And then I would do the first verse, so that was kind of cool. I got the curtains open, I would do the first verse, and then she would come from these stairs in the back. And it was a lot of fun. I did Jody Watley right after Vesta, and then I did Sheena right after Jody.
So did you go from there to Rasan? I want to know how you got on the Rasan gig.
Oh, man. Rasan, okay, so I did Jody after Vesta, and I did Sheena after Jody. After Sheena, I actually left Sheena's band because I got hired to go on tour with Janet Jackson. Mm-hmm. That was like almost 3 years of that tour. That was a wonderful tour. That life changed right then. That's when my whole life changed.
Let's back up a little bit. I didn't know Janet came before that one.
Yeah.
Well, tell me how that one came, and then we'll come back to Ross.
No doubt.
That's how, by the way.
So my dude, man, he came out here to Vegas and wore it out. I went to the show. I loved it. So I finished doing Vesta. I joined Jody's band. I actually was asked to join Jody Watley's band while I was on tour with Vesta. It was a much better offer money-wise and everything else, but I was like, nah, I got to make a choice to do the right thing. So I turned it down.
Y'all hear that, singers?
You did.
Integrity.
You know what I'm saying? I had to. So then after Vesta's tour was done, then the job for Jody was still offered to me, which just was a life lesson. Just shows me, when you do the right thing, God will still bring back to you what you're supposed to have. Right. So I did the Jody tour. When that ended, okay, so I can tell you this. So the tour manager for Jody Watley left for a minute, for about 2 weeks, because his wife was pregnant. And then we had a substitute, God's Orchestration, all God's Orchestration. We had a substitute. A guy came in to sub for Marty Hom. His name is Mark St. Louis, came to sub. And so we just clicked. And he was like, man, he said, so how long you been playing for Jody? And I told him, he said, you play and sing, right? I said, yeah. He said, my full-time job is tour manager for Sheena Easton. He said, you know who she is? I'm like, of course. I was like, I love her stuff. He said, yeah, I just like your vibe, bro, and you can play and sing. If there's ever a slot over there, would you be interested in audition? I'm like, of course. And sure enough, I finished the Jody tour. It might have been a month or two afterwards. He called me and said, you want to come and audition? It's a position open for a vocalist, not for the bass player position, but a vocalist. I said, sure. Audition for Sheena. I got that gig as a vocalist. My good friend and my homeboy from Chattanooga, also Sam Sims, was playing bass with Sheena. Then he got hired with Paula Abdul, so I started playing bass and singing with Sheena when Sam left. Oh. And then check this out. Mark St. Louis, the tour manager for Sheena Easton, is married to Patrice Rushen. So they started to by the time they had just taken me in like a little brother, and we got really close. And then Janet's people called Patrice and said, can you help us put a band together and conduct the audition and do everything? She did all the scores for the whole tour and everything.
What's that?
And she said, listen, it's slots open for Janet Jackson. If you want to go for it, she'd never used a guy before. It's one position open for a male singer. About 8 guys are going for it. She said, I can get you an audition. I can't get you the gig, but if you're prepared, go for it. I'm like, yeah, I want it. And I studied for that thing, Cherie.
Which album?
This was right when That's the way love goes.
Oh, I love that album. Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah,
the Janet album.
Janet. I mean,
Yep.
what else? I mean,
And so I went and I got the gig, and that gig changed my life because it was if you remember, that was like the biggest tour at that
oh
time.
my gosh. And
MTV.
her biggest transformation like ever.
Yeah, yeah, and it was the beautiful thing about it. It just gave me a peace of mind because we knew the tour was going to last a certain amount of time, and the money was the most money I'd ever made. So it just changed my life. It changed everything about my life, and uh, that was that. And after that ended, which was like 2.5, almost 3 years, I kind of took a break. I bought a new house, and
Okay.
chilling, and then I started working with Millie Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I started working with Millie Jackson. I was doing a play with her, and we were in New York. And I'll never forget, I heard this song play on the radio, and I was like, what is that? Who is this guy, man? I'm like, it was so funky,
Mm-hmm.
but the vocals were sweet. I was like, who is this? And someone said, it says Rasan Patterson. I was like, who is Rasan Patterson? Like, this dude is killing. And so I looked him up. I think I went to a record store, whatever I did at the time. This is around 97.
I miss those days.
You know what I'm saying? And I
So
saw,
you look for a record, that part?
how about that, right? Like literally, like went into the store. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the store, pick them up back in the day.
Yes.
And then I saw his vibe. I was like, oh, he probably saw the fro and the glasses and the,
Yeah.
I was like, this dude is dope. So I only heard that one song, but I just bought
Was it
the
so
CD.
fun? No, what was it?
It was
Around my way, baby, come by. Stop by. You don't kill me. Stop by was the first single. You better have them words together.
You better have the words together. In the parts, right? So I got the CD, and I'm thinking, hopefully the rest of the CD is good, like because I looked
Gosh.
and I put the CD on. I was like, geez, every song was like blowing me away, and I was like, man, all due respect, I was getting a lot of great gigs. I had been blessed to do a lot of work. I mean, I worked with prior to this, in between those tours, I worked with James Ingram, Jennifer Holiday, a whole bunch of people. And it was just something I heard Rasan's arrangements. I was like, man, I want to work with this dude, man. Like, I want to sing these harmonies, because we're harmony people. You know how we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, these arrangements are incredible. And sure enough, one day I turned on Soul Train, and he was on Soul Train. And I was like, that's the dude. So I'm watching, like, oh, this is dope. And I looked, I was like, wait, it's Kenneth Crouch. Kenneth Crouch is on there. And I'm like, okay, who else? And I don't know who else was there, but I remember I saw Kenneth, and I grabbed the phone. I called Kenneth. I was like, dude, this dude that you gigging with, man. I said, he's bananas. He's like, oh, Rasan? I said, yeah. I said, man, I want to tour with y'all. Y'all about to
Wow.
And he was
Kenneth
like,
was MDing back then.
he was MDing.
Yeah.
And he said, are you sure? I said, yeah, what do you mean by sure? He said, well, he's a new artist, man. Like, he probably can't pay you like you was working, money with Janet Jackson. I said, man, I don't care. I'm like, just whatever he's paying, I want to do this gig, man. And he said, are you serious? And he put me in touch with Lucille Hunt. Is that her name?
Yep, Lucille.
Lucille.
Call her Lou. Mm-hmm.
And she called me, and
Manager.
she's like, are you sure you want to? We can only pay her. I don't care, right? And then I got on the gig, and it was just, I've been a fan of Rasan's ever since. I was like, this dude is so incredible, man. I remember asking him, I was like, did you play the instruments? He's like, not really. I'm like, that's so bananas that you could hear these harmonies. And to me, that was the one gig that I really went for. Out of all the tours that I've ever done, that was the one gig that I like strongly pursued, and then
you got it. Well, guess what I got?
What?
I got photos.
You do, don't you?
This is the tour that we met on.
That is. Absolutely.
So there we are.
I was just gonna say, I got a chance to meet you on that tour.
Yep, and you brought so much life to. I learned a lot from everybody, that I encounter. But some things are just really special. Yeah. And I hadn't really had. That was my first international tour, and I think actually my first tour ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so
what? I remember you saying that now.
Yeah, it was my first, because I sang on a lot of records, but I never toured because I had a family and, that whole deal. But so we went on ahead and took it, and you had so much freedom. So I actually have a clip, because baby, you knew them parts. You was not playing around. You knew them parts,
I
and you
love,
was full of life. So
I love them.
it was funny when I see it like years later. I was like really stiff, and I was like, oh, okay. But you was really getting into it. So I was like, okay, he got a lot of energy. So by the end of the tour, we was all like,
Oh
we was doing
man,
our thing. We was moving. But the
man.
first one, I was like, get my church rock on. So you're gonna see it. We got it right here. Like, sweet heart, so glad. You
Well, yeah,
remember those parts? Do can't do without my sugar.
yes, of
When that
course.
part came, he was like, do 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 do.
Oh man,
He
yeah.
wasn't playing around.
I love those parts, and I love singing with y'all. Was that me, you, and Louis
Lua.
Cross,
Yep.
man?
Yeah,
Louis
that's
sound like
we worked on that song too a lot. And it was just amazing how he was giving us the parts,
yeah.
and they're just embedded in my head. Like
They
seriously.
are. They are. And you know, the one thing that I loved about Rasan, I talked about this in an interview I did not too long ago. Um, the basics were always there. The
Yep.
parts, I love that every now and then he just give us some extra little sparkles to put it. We'll create something maybe different every show. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you're at rehearsal and he hears something, he'd be like, "Oh, let's do this." So it just kept us sharp, and that's what I dug about it. You know, the one thing that I loved about his tours that it just kept us sharp. It kept our minds sharp on the.
Oh yes.
So that was one of my favorite tours for that reason.
Yep. Yep. I was cracking up because he loves backgrounds himself.
Oh yeah.
So if you look at the video footage that we just saw when the song came on, he turned around and made sure he was gonna come in. he was he was doing his thing right, but he came out real quick like
Yeah, right.
make sure don't do
miss
me
it.
any kind of way.
Don't you admit that?
Don't
Yeah.
you miss it.
Yeah, that was a great gig. And we had so much fun. Everybody was funny, man. But Jubu and them had us cracking up all.
Oh, it was so much fun. So
Yeah.
much fun. I got it. I was on cloud nine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like angels, man. You and Lua, y'all were killing
And
it.
you know, did you hear the blend? Did you hear that blend, man?
Yes, that blend was amazing. Yeah, I love that song. I love that that whole performance. We did a whole recording in Spain.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you have that record? Do you have that tape still?
I have everything else. I don't know about that. I do.
Yeah,
Nope.
I'm gonna find.
I don't think I do. You have it?
I have it. I have it, but I want to make sure. I gotta find it and make sure that it's still. I probably wore it out, but I know. I'm gonna ask Ken because that was a great performance.
Yeah, we was taking trains and planes, and
Yeah.
that was crazy. It was so much fun though.
Right.
So much fun. You know,
Right, right.
you were just, you had a lot of light and a lot of joy. So you have a lot of recording history. We went on. So there's
Yeah.
Jennifer Holloway, David Peetson,
Yeah.
MC Hammer, James Ingram, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, Kanye West, Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg, and Ice Cube. Okay, pick one. Who's your favorite?
To record with?
Yeah.
My favorite to record with. Wow, this is gonna trip you out because that's a kind of weird question for me to answer because, of course, I was in awe and thrilled to record with Stevie Wonder because he's Stevie Wonder, right? And that was a great situation. Kanye was cool. It was interesting, but that was cool. But when I tell you,
That was interesting.
when I tell you, the most fun that I had recording were the rappers because a lot of the sessions that I did, Dr. Dre was producing them. Like I did Exhibit, I did Mac 10, I did some other, yeah, and Dre was the producer of those. And I have to thank Skylar and Tracy Nelson, Monet.
Hi, Tracy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they brought me into that whole West Coast rap scene, and before you know it, I worked with almost every rapper, Nate Dogg, all of them. I sang on all their things.
Dope. So Monet did these gigs with you too?
Some of them, yeah, she did some of them for sure.
She's amazing.
It was mainly Tracy and Skylar that had that lifelong. Tracy grew up with Dre and them, so she was knowing him since she was a kid. So yeah, so they just pulled me in and it was just a blessing. They liked me, and I didn't know what to expect from that situation. I'm like, you know me, I'm gonna always be me. So I wasn't going in trying to act like I was a thug or a gangster, but
Right.
I ain't scared or nothing either. You know, so I just came in. I was just myself. You know, that's what Mac 10 says. He said, I like because you ain't trying to be hard, you being yourself, but you ain't no punk either. I'm like, nah,
That's right. That's
no,
right.
no. So I love those experiences. You know, but like I said, I was in awe to work with Jennifer. I did some things with Jennifer Holiday, and I was younger. And I have to give shout out to Valerie Pinkston for those things.
Valerie Pinkston. Hey, Pinkston. Okay.
Valerie Pinkston
Let's
hooked
get
me
her
up.
too.
Gotta get her.
There's so many of us, right?
I wouldn't be doing a lot of this stuff if it wasn't for them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Valerie hooked me up with the James Ingram hookup, the Jennifer Holiday, and the David Pinkston. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember all of that. What did you do with MC Hammer?
I did some background stuff with him. I toured with him on some things, some dates,
Did
and
the gold pants? The dance.
yeah, he did all that. I got brought in when he did that thing with Tremaine Hawkins, "Do Not Pass Me By."
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
I was in the video. I did.
Come on, video.
I did some award shows with him, so I did like quite a few gigs. And then
Oh
he offered me to go on tour with them full time, but
wow.
you know, I gotten off with the Sheena Easton tour at that time. It was just a much better situation financially. You know, at the time I was married and had my kids, so I had to make the move that was smart. You know.
I did want to talk to you about that because I know
Mm-hmm.
we were on tour, we had children.
Mm-hmm.
How is it for you? Because I know women have their say, or being moms.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear from a man's perspective what it's like to be away as a singer from
Mm-hmm.
and be the breadwinner for your family, but also be away from your family.
Yeah. You know, fortunately for me, um, a lot of people have a misconception of touring. Um, all tours aren't, as you know, as you can vouch for me, all tours aren't like you just going for a year straight.
Right,
Most of
exactly.
the time you're going for 2 or 3 weeks, you come home
Mm-hmm.
a week or two, you go back out for 2 weeks, you come home,
Right.
So that was good. The only time that I had to be gone for a lengthy time uh, continuously was with Janet. Once we had to go out for 3 months straight. And that was around 94, 95. And I'm a dad. Like I've been close to my sons. My wife, my ex-wife, and I have 2 sons,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been close to them their whole life. And then we divorced in 2000, and I raised my boys as a single father since then. So I've always been close to them. So that 3 months, it was cool for the first month. The second month, it got a little shaky. By the third month, I was crying like I was a woman. Every time I was like, I miss my boy. It was crazy.
Right. It's a trip, right?
It's a trip. It's a trip.
You can still see the love though. I saw I went to your page and I was stop by and see you here and there and like a few things.
Yeah.
But I saw you with your boys and they're like grown now.
Yeah, they're grown.
And so you could see the love in those pictures.
We've been close their entire life. They're definitely daddy's boys for sure, and I share everything with them. You know what I mean? I share everything with everybody, period. I love to share whatever knowledge I have, but the one thing that made us close is that, I never tried to pretend like I was a perfect person, and I allowed them to understand that whatever they need to talk to me about, come and talk to me about it. If they ever fell short or did something they were ashamed of, I'll be quick to tell them, I did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do.
You have to.
That's what happens when you're 14. That's what happens when you're 16. And it kept them from feeling like, oh my God, I'm a failure and my dad's going to be ashamed. I'm like, no, I'm never going to be ashamed. Whatever it is. Just talk to me. And so we've always been close. But with the touring thing, I was blessed for the most part to just be able to come in and out and maintain a good relationship. And I always give credit to the wives, no matter what the relationship is like between the man and the woman.
Yeah.
I always give credit to the wives for holding it down when we're out making money and on stage and having fun and doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? And they're making sure they get up in the morning and make it to school and whatever. I give her props for that.
That's nice.
But we've always been close, and even when it was time for us to go separate ways, my concern was always what's best for the boys. So it's God is good. He did what he did.
And that way now they can read your credits and was like, that's how my kids are. They was like, Mom, I didn't know you did so and so and so and so.
I know.
You were a baby back then.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch a little bit on, because I don't have that much time with you.
I don't like it.
I got to get it all in there. I need,
You know.
you did a little bit with, no, not a little bit. You sing with Queen Latifah.
Oh, love Queen Latifah. Yes. Yes. I've been working with Queen Latifah since, 2012, maybe. I'm thinking around 2012. And man, she's the best, man. She's just the best, man. And her voice is so beautiful. She's so much fun, and and she really loves music, and she really gives it up to her band members and her singers, and she never hesitated to allow us to shine, and I ended up getting blessed with a CoverGirl commercial because she gave me a
Wow.
right? And the CoverGirl, because she's a CoverGirl model, and they reached out and asked me, you want to do the Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl jingle? I'm like, yeah. And then I was mad because
Commercial?
I did, and went in, and that thing was probably 30 minutes of work, no exaggeration. I think I went in saying Easy Breezy Beautiful Color Girl, a harmony above it, a harmony below, some ad libs, and I was out in like 30 minutes. The thing, like $72,000.
Come on, guess what? That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? The commercials is the real.
I've been doing this the whole time. I'm tripping. Yeah.
She has a big heart. I haven't spent a lot of time with her, but she told me something that impacted my life. I was escaping from this tumultuous, emotionally abusive relationship, and I had the kids with me. So I finally took the courage to do it. But I went, and we were at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's funny because I was working on my record, and we had the same stylist. And I knew that both of us at that time in the 90s, it was real big to be on diets. We had trainers and stuff like that.
Right,
so we were both at McDonald's. I was like, oh my gosh, there's Queen Latifah. And I love Queen Latifah. She was like, one of my, I'm a girlfriend.
Right.
So I walk up to her, and it was funny trying to explain this story about how I lost the record and how we have the similar thing. But she says, I told her that, I put the album on the shelf, and she was like, you don't sing for albums, and you don't sing for record companies. You sing because you love it. You never stop singing, no matter what the situation is, whether you have a record deal or not.
See?
Sing because you love it.
See?
And nobody can ever take that away from you.
See, man.
And she was like, congratulations on your new life. We got at McDonald's, and we parted ways.
Yeah.
But I did go on to write. It was on her living single album.
Love it.
So I got a chance to do that, and to set it off soundtrack too.
Yeah.
But I haven't.
It doesn't surprise me because I told her, I said, she's one of my biggest inspirations, especially when it comes to being a business person, because I'm in awe of watching how she handles and juggles her businesses. I told her, I've always told her that between her and Diddy and Mark Burnett, I've learned so much about just how to manage my business. But that sounds like something she would say. I mean, she's awesome. She's awesome.
Still doing it to this day because I love it.
Yeah.
No matter what, without permission. So let's get into Neo.
All right. Well, Neo.
Oh, wait. Before we go, I got to show you the clip.
Okay.
We got a little surprise for you.
All right.
We're doing Because of You, right? And we started on first verse. And do 1, 2, 3. Ooh, don't know what to do about it. Ooh, but I doubt it. My addiction. Like it. And it's all because of you. All because of you. All because of you. Never get enough. She's the sweetest drug. Ain't no doubt.
love those parts.
Man, oh man, and first of all, speaking of solo, I
What's that?
had to. We got this clip of you. Y'all got to see this baby go all the way in on the folks, because I was like, who is that? And I was telling Romeo that I had never really got a chance to really hear him sing,
Right.
because our solos were like really short. You know, we were gigging with people, so that wasn't our time to shine. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
So, man, let me tell you. Go ahead and play it, babe.
Hey Romeo, can you help me out with this part? Romeo, amazing singer, cool dude, stay fly, and the ladies, my God. Who else can you take like a 15-minute break in your show to just let him live? Because the ladies are loving him so much, and the dudes are like, man, that dude can sing. He's amazing. I learn from him every show. Yeah. Can I say you this shit, or should I keep this like really clean and shit? I like side note. Hey Romeo, you know what I'm talking about?
I surely know what you're talking about. Yeah. Said you're talking about a real love, real love. Said you're talking about real love.
Dang, boy.
Said you're talking about real love, yeah.
First of all, sir, I'm shouting on the show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, brother.
That was fun, for sure.
Come on, celebrity vocal coach. Get these babies together.
You know,
Hello?
God is good. One thing about Dana, she will let you share. There were many times, like I was saying to you earlier, there were many times I try to sing a couple bars. I'm like, I'll start walking back toward the mic. She's like, keep going. I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. Keep going. It's quite different than typical.
You know, Rom, I keep hearing you say, you know, we were talking about God's favor early on. And I definitely, now that we've been here for a good minute in the game, 30 years,
Yes.
you look back and just like the story about the RV, you just see the hand of God, and what's for you is for you. And I think I want to encourage a lot of, especially now we'll call vets and OGs.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Okay.
That's an OG. That's right.
I'll take it.
Sure will.
But when you look back, well, how did you? But I'm just so grateful. I always give God glory for that, because He can only do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? To open up the doors, and those are the desires of your heart as a child.
Yeah.
To just be a singer and work with all these stars, and you thought it was about the stars, but you realized that you had your own path and your own purpose.
Absolutely.
So I'm just grateful to hear another singer. And they say, how did you get this? I said, it was favor. It was God's favor. And it was fair for me.
Absolutely.
Hello? And fair for you. Maybe not others.
Right. That's right.
But it was fair for me. Amen.
It was fair for me. I'm loving it. Yeah.
That's our
really
hearts,
is.
all our parts. Amen. And our checks from back in the day that I wish was happening today.
Oh, man.
Same. I'm just saying.
You're doing
That's a
your
whole
thing.
different workshop. We'll talk about that at the end.
I love it. I
But
love
you're
it.
going to tell me a little bit. We did play a little bit about Neo. So we'll bring it on back around to Neo.
Right.
Tell us about that experience.
Neo's situation was great. So first of all, it really started. I was doing an open mic at Cozy's. Cozy's.
I remember
Cozy's, right? So a lot of
Okay,
people
sorry.
don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that Cozy's was started with myself and a guy named Michi Day. It was Michi.
remember Michi.
Remember Michi? So that was
Michi, is he still with us?
nah. Michi's
He's
gone.
gone, right? God,
Yeah, he left.
everybody's going.
Yep. Michi came to me and said, "Man, I want to do this thing, man. I need you to be my right hand man on it." I was like, "What is it?" So he told me. We started Cozy's, and I mean, we had the fire marshal there because we were packing out so much. And one day we were at a rehearsing for that week, and this guy walks up and he said, "Sir, I want to sing at your guys' open mic." We were like, and Michi was like, "Can you sing?" He said, "Yeah, well, yeah." He said, "Yeah, I can sing." He said, "I'm really a writer though."
Oh, I
He
can't
said,
wait to hear this.
he said, you know the song, You Should Let Me Love You. It's a new song. We were like, yeah, I love that song. He said, I wrote that. We were like, the Mario song? He said, yeah. So Michi said, you gonna sing that on this weekend? He said, I can. I want to sing that and another song. And that's how we met Neo. He came and
So
sang.
Neo came to Cozy.
Yep, he came through Cozy's
Ah, that's tight.
and we became good friends. And then he told us, he said, I'm just signing with Jay-Z. I'm about to blow up. Y'all gonna see a lot about to happen. So we were like, sure enough, it happened right after you told
Yeah,
us.
he's amazing.
He's amazing. He stayed really, really, really humble. And
Yeah.
so we were doing Michael Jackson tribute, myself, Kevin Dorsey. Kevin was the musical director for the show. I was the vocal director for the show. And we were doing this Michael Jackson tribute in Wales. And Neo was one of the artists featured on the show. Everybody was on the show. Beyonce, Yolanda Adams, you name it. It was a huge show. I think like 50-something thousand people came out to it. And, we had a ball. And after it was done, Neo's people asked us if we could put a band together for him. So Kevin got some musicians for him. And I called in those two girls that you saw. One is Mika Lett. Mika's my cousin. She was the one. Yeah, she's amazing. If you watching the video, she was the girl on your left side. She was singing soprano.
Yep.
And Alex Day was the girl on the right side with the shorter hair.
Yep.
And she was singing alto. And both of them Alex is incredible too. They're both incredible singers.
It was nice to put a face with the name because I've heard her name like
numerous
times. Oh, Alex Day. I'll be like, I
Man,
haven't met. I keep hearing about it, but we've never met.
Alex is cold, man. She's got a beautiful voice. They both, and the three of us just always work together well. So most of the time when people would call on singers to provide a section if they wanted me to be in it, because singers, by the way, it's my company that I kind of put people to work and assign them. But if they want me to be a part of it, and then they say bring a couple of people, those are my first two calls usually.
Come on, singers.
Mika's family, so she's always the first call. I put her in the jingles and television shows and the whole nine. So we did some shows with Neo for a while, and again, God's orchestration. I'm the vocal director for Neo, and then he did a show in Dallas, which he and Trey Songz was on the show together, and that's the first time I met Trey Songz. Then years later,
I remember you working with him too.
Yeah, then Trey contacted me and asked me if I would coach him. They ended up doing a tour with Trey Songz where he and Chris Brown toured together. So God's orchestration is always always perfect. So that was the Neo situation. It was very cool. Very cool.
Teddy Riley, Guy.
Oh my God.
That too?
Teddy is like my little brother.
You've been busy, man.
Yeah, Teddy and I have been friends for 30 something years. I met Teddy in '89 when I first toured with him.
Oh, yeah, that's dope.
And so now like we're like fam. Like Teddy lives about 15, 20 minutes from me.
Oh, wow.
And for all those years, we maintained that, so whenever he needed help with Guy or with Blackstreet vocally, he would always call me and be like, man, I need you. I toured with both of them. I toured with Guy, I toured with Blackstreet. And that's my dude. But like literally, we're like family. So yeah, that's
but you can't say Blackstreet without me giving a shout out to my cousin, Dave Hollis.
Come on.
You can't do that,
Come on. You understand
Dave.
Hey, Cuzzo Dave. That's
right,
the dude.
You know what I mean?
That's like my favorite voices of all time.
Classic. I know it anywhere. Been hearing it all my life.
No, that's right. Really, all your life.
All my life. Seriously, that's another workshop.
Love Dave, man.
But
for real.
First of all, the voice, like seriously.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's so dope.
That was pretty cool. It's funny because at the time that was presented to me, no one knew anything about what that was, including myself, because I was called before it started. So I'd done 2 TV shows on MTV with P. Diddy. I'd done Star Maker and Making His Band. But Star Maker was actually a collaboration of Diddy and Mark Burnett. So I was a vocal coach on that show to all the contestants. And I was also the section leader for the live band, which I also brought in Mika and Alex for that TV show.
Come on, Mika and Alex.
Right. Gotta keep them close, right? So in that,
I like how you look out for your people. That's dope.
You have to, you know what I'm saying? So in that show, I developed a cool relationship with Mark Burnett. He's liked how I work with the contestants. And then I ended up Making His Band. And then I got a call from I'm sorry, I'm tripping. From oh, why am I forgetting my man's name right now? I'm tripping. From the musical director for The Voice. Oh my God, man, he would kill me.
The
He's gonna,
Voice? Not
yeah,
no Ricky Minor
Paul,
did.
Paul
He
Merkovich.
did. Paul who?
Paul Merkovich.
Okay, all right.
Oh man, Paul's one of my good friends
Like
too.
an American Idol. Oh.
So Paul Merkovich called me and he said, "Man, we need you for this new television show that we're doing. It's going to start blah blah blah. You know, we need a vocal expert. You know, we got a casting team to get the contestants, but we need a vocal expert to kind of make sure whoever we get is cool." And I said, all right. So what's the deal? I said, is it kind of like American Idol? And that was at the time when American Idol had kind of gotten like silly, when the people were being all over the place, and it was like more about being funny than being a competition show.
Yeah.
And I said, if it's gonna be like American Idol, I'm good. I'm gonna pass, man. And he was like, you sure? I said, yeah. He said, no, actually, this is gonna be all about The Voice. The name of it is gonna actually be The Voice. And he said the contestants are going to sing to 4 celebrities who will have their backs turned, so they can't even judge whether they're pretty, what ethnicity, what nothing. Is they can only judge them by the voice. And I was like, that's kind of a fly concept. I said, that's kind of fly. I like that. And he said, plus he said, it's Mark Burnett. Mark wants you to be a part of it. I'm like, oh, I'm in. So I came in not knowing anything. Let me tell you how bad it was. The first season of The Voice, we couldn't get we couldn't get contestants. Like nobody wanted to.
Are you serious?
We were reaching out to people, you want to be on this? It's like, nah. The first season, man, they had to hire extras to be in the audience. Nobody was feeling it at all.
Did you ever want to do The Voice?
Like as a contestant?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
not.
No, that was not my thing. I've never had the desire to even be an artist. I love doing music and being a supporter and a team player. That's just always been my spirit. And I think my anointing is teaching. That's just my anointing.
This is Anthony Evans with The Voice Season 2, and I am here to tell you that working with Romeo has been one of the best experiences I've had in the area of vocals. Being pushed into a different place after being on the road for a while, I thought, I got this together. And then Romeo pushed me to another place, and I'm honored for the time that I've gotten to spend with him. And I truly mean it. I don't say stuff like this unless I mean it. I really do mean it. So, Romeo, thank you very much for the pleasure of being able to just get a little bit from all the experience that you have. Thank you very much.
And so, so we put I helped pick the contestants. I mean, not the contestants, the judges. We picked Christina Aguilera first. I think then it was Adam, and then we picked CeeLo. And that was going to just be 3. And then they were like, we need to get a country artist. And then that's when we got Blake. And I wasn't even familiar with Blake, but he ended up being like one of the nicest guys ever. Season 1 went, and by season 2, everybody was ready to be a part of it. Yeah.
So you did client coaching for Avril Lavigne, El DeBarge, one of my favorite singers.
I did.
Riley, Diddy, Esther Dean. I've heard a lot about her. She's dope.
She's incredible.
Cassie.
Yep. Cassie.
Is it Priyanka?
Priyanka Chopra. Yep. Yeah.
And you also do seminar tours.
I do.
My understanding. Tell us a little bit about it.
That is a great thing that I love. I've always wanted to do that. I started about 6 or 7 years ago, where when I left The Voice, I spent so much time conducting auditions for for Making His Band, and for The Voice, that what I was starting to see was there was a lot of people coming to audition with amazing voices, but they were making slight mistakes that was going to prevent them from being advanced. And as a vocal coach, I was like, I can fix it right now. Let them sing it one more time. And with thousands of people in line, you can't do it. So the casting director and the directors of the show is like, nah, they got to go. And sometimes, people just weren't ready. But sometimes I heard beautiful voices, and I'm thinking, oh man, if I just gave them one tweak for 3 minutes, give me 3 minutes, they could. they can do it. And they were like, we can't do that. We can't do that with all the thousands of people in line. So we can't do it one or two. And that would always drive me crazy because I would see people so hurt and confused. Like, I'm not going to get put through. And I'm like, I know you got a nice voice, but I know why they're not putting you through. So when I left,
that where the vocal coaching started, like your heart for it?
you know, I've been coaching for about 25 years, but
Really?
yeah, I was coaching before. I started coaching before the Janet tour and all that. But
and
yeah.
bass playing.
Yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was just something that seminar thing. When I left The Voice, I was like, you know what? Because that's when I realized this whole television competition, that's the new thing. So I put this video up on YouTube, and I was like, listen, if you're trying to audition for TV competition shows, whether it's The Voice or X Factor or American Idol, whatever, let me be the one to help you, because I'm seeing the mistakes that you guys are making that's keeping you from advancing. And I'm there. You know, I'm the guy who was on the other side of that table helping to make the decision. So let me show you what to do. And people responded to it like crazy. And then expanded from that to teaching people internationally. So I literally now get up every day and I teach people all over the world, different countries every day, right on the computer.
Hi, I'm Romeo Johnson, founder and CEO of Singers, Vocalist, and Celebrity Vocal Coach to the Stars, and I'd love to work with you.
Y'all see the singers right there. Get your life. You get your life. And so you have The Voice.
This for you, baby girl.
Well, I got your cup ready.
You did.
Yes, I'm ready. I can't wait to get it. Yay! And then of course I have to go and buy my own.
Oh, come on. I got you.
I got to support too. But
I love it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rome.
Sure.
You know, I do got to ask you one more thing though.
Sure.
Probably a couple more things. You have the Follow the Voice, Sounds Produced from Heaven. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's one of the latest things you got going.
Yeah, my book. I have about at least 4 or 5 books in me, but I procrastinated for years. So this book, Following the Voice, is the first of at least 4 or 5. And what I want to start off with was my story and how I was blessed to get from Chattanooga, Tennessee to traveling the world with the biggest artists that ever walked the planet, you know. And it's a little play on words, you know. Everyone by that point knew that I was the voice coach on the TV show The Voice. Mm-hmm. And they knew that I did the first 4 or 5 seasons, and I left. And so I named the book Following the Voice. So it's a little bit of play on words, because I know some people thought, oh, he's about to tell what happened after he left The Voice, what he's doing now. But the actual concept is it's an inspirational autobiography is really what it is. So the thing is, Cherie, a lot of people don't know it, but I've never had a manager and I've never had an agent ever.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right. So when I got to LA, what I've heard repeatedly over years and years and years is, how are you getting these gigs? Like, how are you doing this? And they would say, who's your agent? And I always say, God is my agent, you know.
Come on now.
Gigs. I'm like, you know what? I literally wake up in the morning. And this is what I was doing from the time I moved to LA, and I still do it today. The biggest part of my prayers, I just say, God, lead me to the right people and help me to avoid the wrong ones. You know, literally, I'll just follow whatever you say. But then here's the thing where we slip. We ask that, but then when he tells us what he wants us to do, we analyze it with our own brain, and then we do what we want to do. So it's about asking God to lead you, and then when he speaks, understand that you're supposed to follow what he says, even if it feels weird or it sounds weird. But the only way for you to do that is to recognize his voice when he speaks. The only way that you can recognize his voice when he speaks is to study his word and understand how he communicates and his character. Right. So I tell people the most important thing in the world is understand the character of God and the tactics of the enemy more than anything.
Yeah.
You can memorize all the scriptures you want, but if you don't get an understanding of the character of God and the tactics of the enemy, you can
Yep.
be tricked.
Yep.
So the book basically is talking about how it's talking about my life, but it's talking about all through my life, through different stages of my life, how God spoke to me in times where I was like, wow, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm doing it, or even dropping everything and going to LA when I knew I didn't know anybody.
You said go.
Right.
Listen and follow.
And that's what the book is called, Following the Voice. It talks about everything from, my career moves. Started off with my home, my upbringing and decisions, things that I learned from playing sports and how that applies to life.
What sport did you play?
I played football and basketball.
Come on, football and basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
For sure. Yep.
You went to Tennessee.
University of Tennessee.
University. All right. Yep. Come on, college man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Jingles, LA.
Man, I mean, but LA's been good. You got Jingles, and I didn't know you act.
Well,
so you acted and plays. And
I did. God's been good, and when you come up and you're artistic, you just go for whatever, and you don't, it was fun. It was fun. I never dreamt that I would be doing the things that I've done. And, my mom used to always tell me, she said, if you just follow God's voice, she said, your biggest dreams is minor compared to what God wants for you. He wants much more for you and it's been true, because everything that I've dreamt about, God has so far exceeded that. My goal was, and my dream was, man, if I can go to LA and become a bass player for an artist and be able to make a living just playing music, I'm good. Yep. And I meant that. I mean, if I could have gotten a gig playing bass for someone and just made enough to pay my bills and be home, I'd have been happy. I had no idea what was in store, And the people that I look up to now, that I looked up to then, the fact that they're my friends, the fact that Patrice Rushen is my big sister, and, Ollie Woodson was my mentor, and Vesta was my best friend. And, it's crazy. And I have to give a shout out too. Anytime I'm talking about my career, I have to shout out my friend, Will Wheaton.
Will, I met Will.
Yeah, Will's a great guy.
Finally, it took us forever to meet, but
great guy's been my friend for the longest. He was literally the first person that I met in LA that kind of, put me in the clique with everyone else. He saw me singing with Ollie Woodson at a club, and I saw his reaction from the audience. I was like, this dude sings, because he's reacting to everything.
Yep.
You know how we do as singers. He was like, I said, yeah, he's a singer. And then
he's a singer.
He's a singer, right?
And a real estate agent. Come on, real estate agent. You better have
saying you right in your house.
Another situation moving at the same time.
Saying you right in your house.
Some checks.
Right.
Come on now.
So he introduced me to everybody who put me in a situation. He's the reason I know Valerie Pinkston, and he's the reason I met a guy named Tony Warren who ended up introducing me to Vesta. So Will was very instrumental, very, very instrumental.
Well, we got to do a gig together finally, years, but it was cool.
Bad boy.
Let's see what else, man. You've done so much in movies and tours, and I have a couple of questions for you. We did the best artist already.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked a little bit about the audition process, but I wanted to know what are some of the biggest mistakes that singers make? What that you've noticed?
Well, it's so many, but I'll just give you some. One, when you come in, just be natural, right? Some people think you gotta come in over bubbly. If you're not a bubbly person, don't try to be bubbly. Just be yourself. Be confident. Be rehearsed. Whatever you rehearse. First of all, be rehearsed. Come in knowing exactly what song you're going to sing and how you're going to sing it from the beginning to the end. If the person that comes in front of you sings the same song, don't go, oh man, I'm singing another one now. Go and do what you rehearse. That's number one.
There we go.
Do not, people think this is cute, but it's not. Don't come in and stand in front of the persons who are auditioning you and keep saying, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so, okay, excuse me. Oh, because that's not funny. Goofy. A lot of singers think that it's great to come in and just start at the power note of a song, right? So they'll come in and go, I'm gonna start with the bridge, and and it's like, that's not it. I tell people, think of singing as a musical massage, right? Give me an intro. Start, softly rub my back first, then go deeper and end with the chops.
Right. Don't come
Don't-
out the gate. Don't come out the gate with it. Don't come out the gate on 10.
Don't come out the AMP. So it's those things are obviously the ones we know, try to make sure it's a song that's in your key. The main thing is understand that understand that when you're auditioning, it's about singing what showcases your ability. It's not about singing the most popular song. Oh man, I love this song. This is the hottest song. I'm gonna sing that, but then you don't do well on that song. So just because Bruno Mars has a dope song out, don't mean that you're gonna pull it up and do it in an audition, and we're gonna push you through because we like the song. Unless you can sing like Bruno Mars, don't do that. And it goes on and on and on. These are things so many things that I teach, but the main thing that I saw were those things that got people, coming in trying not being natural, just coming in blaring right out the gate. Said, right? I just thought it would be more powerful if I started at the bridge, and it's just it's a whole lot of things, and you have to understand too that when you're auditioning for people, these people are human beings, right? So you know what I'm saying? You got to think of how would you feel? How would you feel if you were sitting? What would you like to hear? If you were watching television, what would turn you off if you saw an artist? It's really that simple. A lot of times when they do things, especially when my class is in class, and I say, okay, cool. Let me show you what you just did. And I would literally do what they just did, and I go, did you enjoy that? No. So think it through. Just think it through. Think it through. Those are some of the things that we talked about because, like I said, some people go in, they got great voices. Obviously, don't oversing, don't over riff us to death.
Which is basically a real.
That's the real.
And no diss to the new generation, but that's basically everything is a run.
Right.
Everything.
Right. Yeah, they will riff you to death right now.
And let's be clear, not because we can't do it, first of all, because that's first thing.
Know that.
It's not because we can't do it, but it ain't necessary for every line. It just
know that.
And it's dope.
And then even if you can do it, it's about knowing how to do it tastefully and understanding that it should be a result of a feeling. It shouldn't be a pre-planned. It just sounds real rigid if you're trying to plan it.
It does. Well, tell us a little bit about after they get the gig, because sometimes there's etiquette, and then when you're new, I think we've all had this situation when we first come on a gig, we're kind of green. What are some of the things that we call it background vocal etiquette? What can you share with the people?
My number one pet peeve
is
when you come onto a gig new and you try to make yourself a part of the family too quick.
Ooh.
You feel me? Like if you're new and this is your first day, and you see two band members like going at each other and making fun of each other or whatever, and they may be like whatever, they know each other. So you don't need to be the loudest, longest laugh. You know what I'm saying? You can't be because you just got in, because they both look at you like, no.
Wow. That's a good one. I really want to laugh, but that is so true.
People don't understand. People don't ever talk about that, but that is a big thing. You don't just come in, trying to be too close. There was a story that someone was in Michael Jackson's band.
Uh-oh.
And they said that the first day Michael came in, that he was trying to act like they had gone way back, and he was like, MJ this, what's up, MJ? And MJ.
No.
And he said, I guess Michael had cracked like a little joke or whatever. He said, shut up, man. What are you doing? We don't go back like that.
He just told him to shut up. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Shut up, MJ. No, you don't tell him to shut up.
Okay, we got that. We got they try to show up with their little demos and all that stuff and want to sing.
Oh, that's a real.
Come on now. Tell the babies what they don't need to be.
Here we go. Number one, don't try too hard to be the artist pet. Don't be all up in the artist's face. I tell people all the time, the best way that you're gonna get approval from the artist is allow the artist to show the artist that they can depend on you to have your part down. That's the best thing that you can do. The best thing, the way to get close to an artist or have an artist respect you and like you is when they look and say, man, she is on her part.
There you go.
Man, she is on time. Man, she is pleasant. These are the things that get you called back. And a lot of people don't understand why they are actually very talented and will get a gig.
That's right.
Call back. Man, I don't know what happened. They didn't call me back on the gig, man. And I'm like, really? What do you think happened? I don't know. I was the best singer she had. I was better than all of them. And I'm like, here we go. We're finding out right now why you didn't get called back. Did your behavior show that you felt this way when you were there? It's not even about a competition, because when you guys are on the stage with this person, it's about becoming a family and a unit to make them look good. It's not about you looking good. It's not about you trying to figure out where you can put a harmony on her lead vocal when she didn't ask for that. How you putting an ad lib in the middle of her verse. An ad lib in the middle of her first verse.
It happens. It happens.
Play your part. The bottom line is go in, play your part, be pleasant, be professional, and you will work. If you could just you don't have to do anything extra.
Yeah. Just
do what you're paid to do it well, be pleasant, and you will work. I've been blessed. My first gig was with Vesta in 1989. Do I tell you that I have not gone a year without working, and I'm not the dopest singer in the world. All I know is I'm going to learn.
Oh, man, that's from what I just heard.
You so sweet, especially coming from you, Miss super duper duper bad woman. I try to do my job and be pleasant, and that's it. And listen. Awesome.
Disclosures.
Say it again.
Disclosures.
What about them?
Well, with telling the vocalist when they come on, sometimes they have
my Lord.
Come on.
Yes, Lord. Well, it's so much more that goes into that. So you had mentioned earlier something I thought was very, very, very important. Number one, don't be talking too much about what's happening there, because most artists are very private. So, I saw someone not too long ago working with a major artist, and they were doing lives. And I know the artist, and I know that this artist would not approve of you being in their rehearsal with your live showing them in the background.
Oh, yeah, you get fired for that.
That was wrong, and yeah, they did get fired. But that's a no-no. What else was I gonna say? Expecting. We talked about earlier. Just how many tickets can I get? How many
comps? Yep.
Comps. Come on. Comps. How many comps can I get? Can I get my and then here's the worst. Can I get comps? Sure. How many you need?
10.
I'm like, what? What about the rest of the band? Yeah, well, I'm just saying, because my cousin and them, if they from here,
Them. Everybody comes from mom and them. Here's the thing. I think that I'm going to say something about that, because maybe back in the day, you probably could do that. But because of the digital world now, and we rarely get paid from record sales now, because you can pretty much get to our music for free. Well, y'all music for free, not mine. Not no more. Anyway, I'm just saying, that's another workshop.
I feel you.
But a lot of the artists can't eat, so they make money by touring.
That's right.
So now, unless they give you a comp, and here's the thing, I have now, it ain't even like it used to be. I'll have friends that are playing in a band, and I remember I had to learn my lesson the hard way, because one time there was a band coming to town. I'm going to say the name. There was an artist coming to town, and it was pretty much all of the band members. And I was expecting he'd be able to hook it up,
Right.
But he was like, yeah, you can get your ticket and so on. And we were real tight. But then I knew oh, you know what? This is before it started getting really bad with digital. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? We do need to support. It's really important that we support one another. And not always, because this is, how do you say, they're taking food out of babies' mouths?
Yeah. Especially now,
job.
Like you said, especially now that the ticket sales are primarily their money. That's primarily their money now.
Yeah.
You know, we did a tour. Trey Songz did a tour couple years ago,
Mhm.
and he did everything himself. It was really impressive. He did the whole thing without promoters. He did everything through his social media. I think he did like 28 cities, and he was sold out on almost every one. But that was the tickets paid for everything, all the band members, all the everything.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
I just really want us to be in a position now where we can pay our musicians. We can't even our singers. We can't even.
Yeah.
I get kind of disheartened about it, but we really almost, and I guess that's my passion, to make sure that we're able to work again like we used to. And, you know, that's a mission of mine. But it warms my heart to see that you're just out there doing your thing and still minding your purpose. I call it. And one more question.
One more
No,
thing I want to say that was a huge blessing. I appreciate, I just appreciate every person who looked out for me. And as I try not to forget anything anybody's done, but I want to say that one of the big things that has been a blessing to me now, because at this stage in my life, all I want to do is take everything that God has given me and shown me, all the platforms, all the knowledge, and share it. And I wanted to share it internationally, and that God has given me that type of platform. And 6 years ago, Patrice Rushen called me and said, "Would you consider taking a professorship at USC?"
Ooh, that's dope.
In my mind, because I was so in that mode. And the funny thing was, I was literally, when I say literally, I mean in the moving truck, moving from LA to Vegas, like all my stuff in the back.
Wow.
They had just finished building my house. So I'm on the 15, bye LA, and the phone rings and she goes, "Would you consider taking this professorship?" I was like, "Oh, Patrice, man." I said, "I'm literally moving to Vegas right now." She goes, "What? You're moving to Vegas?" I said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Man, oh my goodness, man, I can't believe this." And she's like, "Wow, Romeo." I said, "Patrice, listen." She said, "It's just that she said, we got great singers, great talents, and I want to teach these kids about nuances and stage presence and blah, blah, blah. And you were perfect." I said, "Man, I appreciate you for even thinking about me." And she said, "I didn't think about anybody else but you." And that thing touched my heart so much when she said that, coming from her.
On favor.
Yeah.
And character.
And character. And
character.
I said, "I'm so sorry." I said, I'm sorry, I can't even do it." She said, "Well, just hold on a minute. Let me call you back." And before I got to Vegas, she called me back and said, "You think you could take on an adjunct professorship? Can you get here maybe twice a month? If you can just do twice a month." I'm like, "I'm down." And I've been doing that for 6 years. And it's been such a blessing to me to see these young kids coming up and to be a part of that Thornton School of Music, pop music department, helping them, helping to prepare these kids to do what we do and give them knowledge to keep them from, running the brick walls and bumping their heads,
Wow. So what are the differences between the children of, the kids of today and the vets, as they call us, OGs? What's the difference?
It's a lot of differences. When we were coming up, we understood, number one, we want to be the best we could be, period. I want to be the best singer I could be. I want to be the best bass player that I could be. And I didn't think about being the most popular. I thought I want to be the best one. I want to be the best bass player in Chattanooga. And because I was working to be the best bass player, I began to become one of the most popular. But I wasn't thinking about being popular. I was thinking about being the best. And nowadays it's the return, it's the flip. It's like, how can I get followers? I'm worried more about getting, Instagram followers than I am practicing, and that's one difference. Another difference I talk about all the time. Do you remember how proud we were when we had someone to teach us something? If it was someone we looked up to,
yes,
they taught us something, we were like, man, every time somebody told you, "Dang, Cherie, you sound good. I learned it from such and such. She told me how to do that." We were so quick to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still like that to this day. I mean, I take pride. I'll tell people in a minute. most of the stuff that I'm teaching are things that Ollie Woodson taught me, you know. But it's amazing because now a lot of young kids want it to look like they've done everything on their own,
Yeah.
which is confusing to me, but it is the way it is. You know, they want to take, they want to act like I've done it all. And it's like, the only thing that's sad about that is if you don't show gratitude, then you can't go back and ask for more sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you know, but the main thing I think is shortcut. I think everybody's trying to get the quickest route and, you know, the shortcut, and they're more focused on popularity than they are the quality of their craft.
Yep.
Those are the things that I think are difference between, you know, the old school. And that's why I actually love being the age that I am, because I started young in the game. I learned from the vets, and I still have my finger on the pulse of the street. So to be able to work with the young people now, and I got some young artists that I'm working with that's going to make some noise. So it's cool. I'm loving to be in a position where I can bridge the gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, tell them, you know, I want you to learn who influenced the people you were influenced by, you know, and who influenced those, because it makes a lot of things more sense. You know, I just, my female young clients is 15, 16 years old. They come to me and of course they talk about all the amazing talents, you know, the Ariana Grande and the Tori Kellys, who are incredible. But I'm like, yo, let me turn you on to Shanice. Let me turn you on to Shantae. Let me turn you on, you know what I'm saying? Let me turn you on to, you know, somebody.
Baker.
Baker, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool to see them break down, because I'll break down songs with them, you know. And of course, I have them learning Yolanda Adams stuff. I have them learning Kim Burrell stuff, depending on, you know, what they can handle. And love to see their brains click and go, whoa, I gotta focus on things with these songs much differently than I can focus on the popular songs of the day. And then it makes these current songs much easier to approach. And I don't let them slip. You know, I don't let them slide from the nuances. And you know, you can't get close. If you're gonna sing it, you can't get close to it. I want you to get every note in the riff. Even though you got every note in the riff now, the phrasing is a little shifting. You know, make the phrasing lock. And I love the results I get them, because they're hungry. These kids are, if they have someone to tell them, look, this is what you need to go for, they'll do it, you know. But they just got to have someone let them know, you know, don't go for the shortcut.
Yeah, well, a lot of the people don't like the younger kids today. One of the problems that I noticed in our generation is that, so you mentioned Anita Baker and Patti LaBelle and those people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any of those, because the way, you know, television and the media is set up, our generation seems to compete with the next generation opposed to teaching.
Absolutely, that's exactly the truth.
Yeah, and I think that the kids are disappointed, so they don't want to listen to us, you know, because we didn't pour. So I think for me in this season, yes, we've done a lot, but it is time to find the balance of still how you can exist in your purpose and still grow as an artist, but also be able to create extensions of yourselves into where you can pour into other people. Absolutely. You know, I mean, other kids, and bring them up. So I think that you've gotten a head start on that for a while, and that's one of the reasons why you've been blessed. So I'm just getting started, and I have to kind of learn. I have to learn the social media situation, and you know, that's a whole new market for our generation.
It really is.
We were talking about the changing of the guards earlier. You could be hot, but there's always somebody better coming up, and we get so caught in our heyday that we don't see that coming up on the side, you know. So when you come to a session, you know, you come to a session and they say, hey, can you bring somebody younger with you? And you're teaching them in the studio. Next thing you know, you think you're singing a solo on somebody's record, and the record comes out and it's the little girl that you was in there with. You know, that was kind of one of my experiences that I had in working on a really well-known record. And so it's the changing of the guards, and artists get new background singers and things like that. And I'm busy mothering, and, you know, being a wife and loving my new life. But at the same time, when I came back, I was like, oh, things have changed. Oh, okay.
Right.
You meet the new people. So now it's the new people and the new people and the new people.
Right.
So did you have so I see when you had the changing of the guards, you went more into, You just kept it well rounded to make sure you were always pouring and teaching and instructing.
Yeah, you know what? I think because my mindset was always that of a supporting role. Um, I was always, maybe sometimes even to a detriment, but I was always pushing people in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I was always, there was a guy, for example, there was a guy named Abraham McDonald. Do you remember him?
Are you kidding me? What?
Right. So Abraham
Show in
McDonald,
Vegas, did you go?
of course. But here's the thing.
Loved him.
I was the one that got him started. It's like, and this is all in writing. So I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. When I met Abraham, he went to school with Mika, by the way, my cousin.
Okay.
When I first met him, you know, he was this tall guy, this wild fro and a big scruffy beard. And I heard him sing, and I was like, this is incredible. This guy sounds amazing. And he came to one of the open mics that I was doing. In addition to Cozy's, I did another one called Red Square that I did by myself in Woodland Hills.
Okay.
A lot of people would come there. Investor would come there, Albie Shore, Teddy Riley, all of them would come kind of on the regular. And he came through, and I thought, this dude is incredible. And so we were talking, and I said, man, we should be doing something. He said, man, can you get me some background work? This is a funny story. He said, can you get me some background work, singing background on some tours or something? And you know me, Cherie, I was like, man, I said, nobody wants your big, good singing self behind. You get told.
You can sing too, huh?
I said, man, first of all, you're doper than most people. And then you're this big, towering guy. I said, you're a star. Like, you don't need to, you need to be a front man. You need to worry about you doing your thing. Don't worry about singing background. I said, but I'm going to help you with that. And so I'll never forget, Luther passed away. And so I called him and I said, man, I'm going to give you a night, because I was doing my open mic in Woodland Hills every week. I said, man, I'm going to give you a night. And I want you to do a whole Luther Vandross night. I said, I'll probably get up and maybe sing 2 Luther songs, and then I'm going to turn you over to the band. And he was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. And he said, do I have to get my crowd or your crowd? I said, no, the crowd is going to be there. He said, are you for real? I said, yep. So check this out. Cheryl Lee Ralph was getting married, right? So you know Elaine Gibbs? Did you freeze?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Okay, Elaine Gibbs was an amazing singer who helped me a lot. So Elaine called me and she said, Cheryl Lee Ralph is getting married and I want you to sing at her wedding. And then we're going to have a band that's going to sing at the reception. I said, okay. She says she wants you to sing, she wants a Luther Vandross song. And I told her, Romeo Johnson can kill it. You should get him to do it. So she said, so you got the gig. I said, I got somebody better to do it.
Uh-oh.
She said, are you kidding me? She said, do you understand who's going to be at this wedding? She said, everybody and their mom is going to be at this wedding. You should want to do it. I said, okay. I said, I'll sing something, but if she wants some Luther, I have a guy who will nail Luther. So I invited Elaine to the show to watch Abraham. She fell in love with him. And Abraham, we told Abraham what's happening. He's like, you don't want to do it? I said, no, I want you to do it. And he did it. And that's where he met Niecy Nash. And people. And then they hooked him up with the Oprah Winfrey thing. And then he got
that's where we met. Well, we met before that, but
you
when
and
I moved back to Chicago, my first gig was at the Oprah show for that talent show.
Yes.
So I got the same background for him with that.
Yeah.
We screamed when we saw each other. He was like, no, this is so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great moment when he won. He
won. And then he ended up getting the deal with L.A. Reid.
Yep.
And I watched him blow up, and it was so funny because we hooked up when he came to do the Vegas show, and we talked, and it was him and Andre Washington. And,
come on, Andre. Hey, Andre.
Yeah, another one of my little brothers. And
so many of us, man.
Yeah.
That's another one. Okay.
Right. So we were just all reminiscing and stuff, and they were like, Abraham, I didn't know you knew Romeo. And he's like, Romeo's the reason I'm even doing it.
Everybody knows Romeo.
Oh, listen. It was just
everybody knows Romeo.
It was a blessing to be a blessing. It's always a blessing to be a blessing. And so he wrote this whole thing on Facebook like a week before he passed away. he wrote this whole thing about Romeo. Thank you so much. You know, you're a rock star, and you know, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't blah 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 blah. And I had been so low key about that. By the time he became, you know, famous, you know, I was just watching him do his thing, and so many people loved him, and people were like, "We didn't even know you knew him." I'm like, I was just watching him shine. I've never been one to have to be up front. So to all that to say, when it came time to pass the torch, so to speak, I was always trying to pass the torch. You know what I'm saying? I really was. So I don't think there was ever a time where it like shocked me. I do know, I do know that there was a situation where I got called in to do a session, and with Boney James, and he was like, "Man, I want you to do this dramatic song." He said, "You know the song Go Outside in the Rain?" I'm like, "Of course, love the dramatics." So I went and I did all the vocals, did the arrangements and everything. And he was like, "I love how you're doing this, man." So he said, "Can you do some ad-libs and stuff?" And I was honest with him. I said, "No, not really." I said, "I don't want to do ad-libs because my ad-libs are my ad-libs." And the last few times I did an ad-lib for a track, for a record, the artist did my feels, and those are my feels. Well,
we won't even talk about that.
You did? I know you. We ain't gonna even talk about you. I know. I know you. I know you've had that experience.
Come on.
So he's like, "No." He said, "I want to feature you on the record." I said, "Okay." So I did the ad-libs and I did the whole thing. This brother's record comes out. He sends me the CD in the mail with this thank you note. "Thank you so much, Romeo, blah, blah, blah." I opened the credits. My name is nowhere on the credit. And what's his name? I think what's his name?
You want to burn me up? You want to burn me up?
Wale, I think. Well, somebody was singing it. And I heard him and he was like trying to do my ad-libs. I'm like, "Dang."
Oh, so somebody else was singing it.
Yeah.
Romeo, you too.
No, look, I didn't. Look, my name wasn't there for backgrounds. I'm listening to my vocals. My name wasn't for the arrangements, and I'm listening to this brother trying to sing. Not that he can't sing, dude can sing, but he was trying to sing match my feel, and I'm like, oh no.
Man,
so I understand the whole thing, but
don't get me started.
I know you
just
got.
For the record, credit is everything.
Will you
more so than a check? Because credit is going to outlive your check.
Will you please explain it to people because they don't get it? I'm like, no, it's not a minor thing. Give me my credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened to me on one record. It was a Fantasia's record, and Go Back You No More. Okay. And I remember going down to the studio. I was just newly married to my husband. We were pregnant with Lola. Mm-hmm. I went down there pregnant to do these background vocals.
Wow.
And when the record came out, you could clearly hear me, but I'm not there. And it's not her fault. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was just like, wow. And these were like producers that I work for all the time. So I'm sure it was just, you get production on there. Eric Dawkins was on there. Once you get all those vocals on there, you just kind of forget what the bass of the song is.
I got you.
So I don't think it was intentional, but thank God for AFTRA.
There you go.
And I don't know if y'all know it, but if you don't get your credit as an AFTRA member, you can actually hold up a whole record from coming out because they didn't put your name. I chose not to do that because they would have to recall all of the,
What did happen, Serena? I'm just curious. So did AFTRA, like, did they end up adding your name to like a second batch or anything, or did they?
I don't know how many songs that are showed, but because of AFTRA and I have my AFTRA slip, it shows that I did the work.
Beautiful.
So if I want to get, I don't know how many records that sold, but if I can get a plaque, that's why it's important for your name to be on your work. Because when it comes to awards and things like that, you can't go get a plaque or anything if they can't prove it. That's true. That's like your fingerprint. So it's very important. Producers, if people do vocal arrangement credit, give them their credit.
Give them their credit.
They're helping kind of shape and form your song and pay them for it separately from them singing your song, separately from them demoing your song when it turns into a record. But that's another workshop.
That's another another workshop.
Yes, honey, we could talk all day long. I'm just glad that we have this platform just to have a conversation and catch up.
For sure.
Which is more of what it is. But I do want to at least let the people know where they can support you, your books, any music that you have coming out. You can go to www.romeojohnson.com.
That's right.
And please, I need y'all to do me a favor and go to his YouTube channel and follow and subscribe. when
Come
you
on now.
subscribe. Yeah, because we got to get that platform up. People don't really realize how hard it is. We may have great followers on our social media like Facebook and Instagram and things like that, but YouTube is very important too. So y'all take a moment to go over to and then we have YouTubers looking. First, make sure you subscribe to Cherie Patrice.
Come on
And then
now.
after that,
Well, how about that?
shameless plug. And then after that, I need you to go on over to find Romeo Johnson. Well, you can do the other one first. Go to Romeo Johnson's comment back
Oh
over
man,
here
you know
and
the
tell me,
shit.
let me know, put in the comments that you did it.
That's right. I love it.
Yep.
Love
So,
it.
so anyway, you'll be able to ask us any questions in the comments and stuff, and we'll be able to hit you back and answer them when y'all get this. And you have been just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Romeo, I've learned so much more about you. You're even doper and sincere and way even beyond the bar.
Oh, thank you.
Talent that I did all this research and Ophi and Nye, man. Yeah, the word says let another praise you and not your own mouth. So we gonna be the mouthpiece to let these people know how wonderful you are. So y'all make sure y'all follow my boy on any of all social media platforms.
Right.
And yeah, Romeo, you want to take him out and tell him how you minded your purpose?
Yeah. But first of all, let's talk about that phrase. I love that phrase.
Own your own purpose.
I love that phrase. So I think minding your own purpose is so powerful. And my purpose, like I said, I really believe that my anointing is teaching. And I didn't realize that until maybe the past 6-7 years, that was literally my calling and my purpose. So I've always wanted to be blessed to be a blessing. That's just what I live for. I really never cared about being an artist, as you can tell. I love being a supporting role. So now that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep people from running the brick walls and bumping their heads and making mistakes at any point that I can do that. And just preparing people to do what I've been blessed to do. And God showed me so much favor. I got to share it and pass it on. So by the way, my Instagram is official Romeo J.
Official. Yes, it is.
Right. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's just about right now. I'm not going to allow myself to be blessed by God the way that I have been for all these years and have all this favor and not share, so just know if you want to grow, you want to learn, I'm going to make it as practical as possible and make sure that you get what you need to get. That's all it's about.
I'm so proud of you, Rome. Oh man, you have sown.
Say that again?
You're sowing. You've sown and you're sowing, and so you're reaping the harvest.
Of course. I appreciate that.
I love that. That's amazing. And thank you so much for just spending time with me and chopping it up. This is like
kidding me? Of course.
Man, it's been a long time. So I'm really enjoying this, catching up with my friends and looking forward to meeting new people. But yes, you have been amazing. And thank you again for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nye, too.
Yes, Nye and Ophi. Yes, thank you all so much.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
It takes a village. It's a small little village right now, but God's got his hand on it, and I'm excited about it. Speaking of which, y'all make sure y'all support my boy and support independent artistry. And also go to www.cheriepatrice.com if you're interested in any of the things that I've been doing. I have music and merch and all that stuff. Support an independent. It's really important. We need you. There's no us without you.
That's right.
All right. So remember, mind your purpose. And we'll see you next week, episode 3, with our next guest, which I'm not going to tell you right now. You got to find out. A little later. I'm so dramatic, and I know it, and I love it.
Don't change.
All right, bye. Minding my own purpose. Minding my own purpose.
Go, girlie. God bless you.
All right.
purpose.